Greetings, hello, welcome everyone. Welcome to DevChatter episode 141. We are here on a Thursday, so that means we're here a little bit early. So if you're one of our newer viewers, that's why we are starting at this hour. If you are wondering what our schedule here is on the stream, you can actually find a lot of that information down below, or you can ask our bot by sending a message in the chat and asking it for our schedule. You do that by using the schedule command and put in some rough description of where you are or some other place that's in your time zone, and it will tell you what time we stream. So, for example, we stream on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 2 p.m. on the first 2 days, and noon and 1 p.m. For the latter 2 days. Okay, so in the chat, we have been working here on the stream on a couple of things recently. One of the main projects that we've been doing is our little stream game that we've been building, and I will show you roughly how that works, because I want to make sure I give a quick intro to everybody. So here's the idea of the game. This is a game that's designed to be played through the chat interface. You can do it with that chat window, but in order to keep the clutter down a little bit, we have also allowed you to do that same thing. Hey, Twitchlove! 3 months in a row, very nice. That should mean you are hatching out of your egg. Thank you very much for that Twitch Prime sub, 3 months in a row. Very cool. So welcome, welcome. And so as I was saying, in order to keep some of that down, we allow you to do the chat commands over in one of our chat channels. Oops, I opened that in the wrong window. That's my mistake, hang on. I meant to go here. There we go. So, pulling this onto the screen, if I pull down the rooms, which all of you can do as well, you can open up the game room, and this is a place where we expect people to be posting game inputs and things like that. So if you just want to play games with our bot and not, not clutter up our regular chat with these things, you can go over here, and this is a good way to keep it out of the main chat room. So I can do things like this. I can give my character movement commands, and he'll move around on this map. And you'll see now he's right up next to a zombie, and they're one space away from each other. And if he moves into it, watch his health bar there. So it kills the zombie, and that gets us... why didn't I get hurt? Oh, right, because I used my sword. That makes sense. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and switch to mouse inputs now that I've shown how that works. Hey, S&B, hey, Twitchloft, welcome. Okay, so I can step there. Oh, and up there I can see there's a gold pile that I might want to pick up. Pick up a new sword and escape with my new sword. So this is kind of the idea with the game. So if you watched when we started it, you will have noticed that I started the game with some weapons. So I had swords, I think I had a bat, something along those lines. I had a couple of weapons to help me survive. So that's kind of the idea of this game. We want it to be persistent. So now if I start again, what is going to end up happening is I will have those 3 swords that I left the game with. So we are storing that over in the database, that those are items that my character has. So when I continue, I get to come in with them. Now I wanted to build a couple of things in addition to that. I want to create some maybe safe places or things like that, some kind of concept for this. So the idea is right now, any of you can play the game here in the chat. You can go ahead and open up the open up the chat window, switch over to that game room, and start typing in. And let me make sure, is it on? I don't know if it's on. Hang on one sec, let me turn it on. Okay, so now it should be enabled right there on the screen. So if we do, just to confirm, yep, it comes up. Now I'm going to refresh that away. So there we go. Okay, so now someone that isn't me could try and play that game if you want. We're going to do some more with it, though, because there are some other interesting things that I want to try and do, and make it a little interesting. So I added some new content to the game. Now, I'm hoping that I can figure out what the names are that I want for everything. We'll see. I did a bunch of naming of items, and I'm not sure exactly how it's gonna go. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of that stuff that I made. So you'll notice two folders that I created here, and I'm going to start organizing all of our various images and things into folders to try and help us keep track of what all this content is. So I've been doing a lot of drawing for the game. So one of the things is I started making metal flooring. So I have standard, just basic metal plate floor, rivets, and stuff like this. Because the reason for this is that you may have noticed that I made a, underground escape as well. So I want this. So imagine there's like a fallout shelter that you can get into. So it's got basically a little doorway that you open up, and then you get into this like underground metal area where, you know, we have these kinds of flooring and things like that. So I built that tile so that we can do that kind of thing. Really? Alright, now you got me confused there, Greendolf. So Greendolf just tried to run a command, and it's running the commands command. And it's like it didn't register the other ones. It should have said, so whenever we receive a command, we immediately print out, you know, what the command was and who ran it. So it's almost like TwitchLib disconnected from Twitch. Or something like that, because it's not receiving commands anymore. Huh. That's weird. Nope. Well, I'll restart the bot then. I have no idea what that is. We're not getting any information. There's no error. So, cool. Hey, Wheelspin. Welcome. So the commands weren't working there, so I'm restarting the bot. Hopefully that'll fix it. And then whenever the bot gets there in the chat, hopefully the commands work again. But either way, the there he is. Yeah, that command should work. Greendolf, try the command. Let's make sure it works for you. Okay. So here's the overlay. So you all may have noticed something else. So in addition to making some metal flooring tiles that I want to be able to use for like walking around, so in addition to our where's the rocky ground tiles that I did before, where these ones I basically just did like this like sand color and then just put in some stones. I want to actually have this one look like, you know, human created thing, thus, you know, that's why that one's created. But in addition to that, I want to make a whole bunch of walls. So, for example, I have, here's a wall on one side, here's a lower wall, here's a little corner, so basically I have all the pieces required to make walls. So that's what I want to do with those. So should be kind of interesting. They look terrible in that view in Visual Studio, which, by the way, Visual Studio is not the program that you should be editing pixel art in. That grid just made it look really bad. Although it can do it, I would highly recommend you open something else. It doesn't have to be Paint.net, that's what I use. There are programs like Piskel, for example, which, yes, that name is what it sounds like. It is one of these I've been considering switching to a pixel art specific program. And yes, you could use MS Paint if you wanted to. So I was thinking about potentially switching to something that really is designed for doing pixel art, because they do still do layers and all those other kinds of things that I'm doing, but I'm hoping it's more focused on the idea of doing pixel art, so I might switch to something like Piskel. We'll see about that. Okay, so either way, I drew all those various walls and things like that. So what I want to do is I want to get that information to our JavaScript, and there's a couple of ways I can do that. So one of them, in the long run, I want to get this in the database so that we can keep track of multiple sets of these kinds of files, or if I don't get into the database, just give them some kind of consistent naming scheme so that we can have it be, you can put in folders that, you know, are a type of flooring. So if you enter a room, let's say you enter a house versus entering an office building, versus maybe you go into a military base or a hospital or something along those lines, we might want to have different looking rooms for these types of places. So that's the consideration that I want to have there. So I am going to open up our walls folder so that we can see the names of all of these. Oh, I saved that as a PDN file. That was derpy of me. I want to show you all what I imagine a room looking like. So let's open this up. So here's the concept. I think you guys are probably going to like this. Let me save that as a ping file instead, maybe? There we go. Alright, there it is. So that is what I expect a room to kind of look like, is something like this, where we would draw this into our screen. So the black areas are unusable, so it wouldn't generate any items or anything. We wouldn't put anything out there. Hey, Crimson Green! Let's go! 9 months! 9 months, that is a good long sub length there. Thank you very much, Crimson Green, for that 9-month resub there. So I was just showing what the pieces I put together to make a room. So in this, every 42 by 42 block is a tile. So if we were to actually draw like what that shape looks like, we would end up, hang on, let me open that and we'll take a look at it. Nice, Crimson. Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to open this up, we're going to take a look at this file, and we're going to see what's in here. So roughly speaking, if we do a 42 by 42 grid, and I will color it with this nasty yellow color that I pick here. I actually do like yellow quite a bit, but for the purposes of this, let's make a new 42 by 42 square. And we will do this. Draw a filled shape. So let me make a quick one of these. And we are going to magic out the center. So I'm going to make a little box that I can draw over this so you guys can see this layer. Coated Beard, good evening, welcome. So that is a block. So I wanted to put this on here so you can kind of see what that is. So this is the top piece of a wall. So that's a left side wall top. Now I could just mirror. I didn't mirror, so I could actually cut all those in half. So every time I did a left or a right, I could have just mirrored that object if I wanted to. Okay, so over here, if I were to shift this over, that is another piece. So the next one over is just wall segment. And actually I think I'm off by a little bit in how I drew this. I think I left a couple of little buffer pieces up on the top. So that's not quite right. Because that's the actual piece. And then this is the next block, which means that this character is on that block there, right? And so if we look at the other blocks, there's one right here, I know, and then down here there's a gap for a block, but we have one here as well. So that's the idea, is that we have these sections. So this is, I called this an L block because in order to do concave sections, right, the convex corners, so like these ones, that's a lower left corner, that's an upper right corner, that's an upper left corner, that's an upper right corner, that's a lower right corner. So those corners are all fine and normal and you can draw them all. But then this one is weird because this is not a top left wall, like this is not the same as that, because I need this wall to go up from here. So it's actually these pixels right here where I have to make the wall section go up. For showing these walls, I think this gets the point across that that's a room and there are characters in it, and we could add things like items, we could put like a couch in here, we could make like a work table. So this looks like maybe a workshop where someone was building weapons or armor or something like that to be able to survive in this apocalyptic zombie scenario. So that's the idea with this, is we can assemble layouts based on these tiles. Now I'm not exactly sure how I want to assemble these. So some of them we can generate with pre-generated with like rules. So that'll be some basic rooms for things like procedural generation of these things. I want to be able to do that at some point, so we can generate a room, and then from knowing where the tiles are, so if we know the occupied space on this is right here, right? If this is the space we can walk on, and this is the space we can walk on, and this is the space we can walk on. So if we do a basic procedurally generated room that tells us, hey, this is the shape, we can, from that, figure out from any given tile what are the neighboring tiles that we need. So this is clearly an upper left corner, that's, you know, basic wall, 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 and then you get these as well. And so you basically build all the tiles around this. So that's kind of the idea. Hey Slips, welcome. So that's essentially what we want to get to. So I'm going to quit drawing all over my little proof of concept here and put it back to the way it was. I obviously don't want to draw all over this thing. Okay, don't save that either. Alright, so that's essentially what we want to build. One sec. Almost forgot. Need to put the Pepsi inside koozies. If I don't, it'll get cold. It will not stay cold. It'll get cold. I want it to stay cold. I want my drink to stay cold. Awesome, Slips. I am doing well. Okay, let's go ahead and build that layout. So here's what I was trying to define. So initial thing, if I want to have a room that's just kind of pre-built, I can build it in the way that looks like the procedurally generated room. And we could just define what are the open spaces that are available. So if I were to draw that room that way, this is what I would draw. I would do this probably. Hang on. I would say, there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. And then down here on this row, because we actually have that as one single pathway through, I would draw this. And that would basically be this room, and then we might pick a palette. So notice in this, well, you know what, maybe I should flip all my 1s and my 0s. I'm going to flip all my 1s and my 0s in this. We're going to switch all the 0s to 2s. All the 1s to 0s. And all the 2s to 1s. There we go. So 0 is unoccupied, 1 is occupied. These are supposed to be 1s. There we go. That's correct. Messed that up. Yeah, so I hadn't decided which room it is, but it's the first one I've drawn, so that's why I called it first room, because I didn't have a name, right? So this is two ways of drawing the same basic room, aside from the S and the E, which I was having be the starting location and the exit point, were where I was going with that one. So either one of these works pretty well. Wheatlaw, what do you mean make it an... Oh, this is the wasteful game, and I wasn't... So these are not intended to be levels, these are special places. So if we have the levels be procedurally generated for the most part, I might want specifically designed rooms. So this is a special... Yeah, so this might be like... you go into a hideout, and maybe all hideouts basically look the same, like you found your way to a hideout, so you can go into the hideout, and you can wait there. And they're probably going to be, they're probably going to automatically have special items in them, so this one might have, like, you know, various equipment that you'd take with you the next place you go. But that's kind of the idea, is if you get into one of these, you can get some extra stuff for a future adventure, for a future trip. So they would be valuable to find places for a player. And I'm debating which way to go. Do we write it such that it figures out which tiles it needs to use for it? Or do we draw it as, you know, the empty space is empty, the zeros are you know, complete walls, dead space we'll say, and then draw the specific segments with some kind of code. So this is an upper wall, this is a lower wall, this is lower right corner, lower left corner, so lower left and lower right corners are being used there as well. This is a left side wall and a right side wall, and that's kind of what I was going with like coding this. I was thinking you could map each one to a specific thing, at which point I could do this. I could say const wall pieces, and make this an object that has those values, like a 0 is sounds good, Slips. Have a good one. So a 0 is the empty, is the totally empty. It's the nothing. Can I drag that in there? Why can't I drag that in there? Wish I could drag from Solution Explorer directly into this screen. Okay, so this is going to be images / ZChatter / walls, and interior wall A nothing. So this is like setting up the basic structure this way. So if I do a less than sign, then I want that to be, that is an upper left corner. So top left. And let me make sure I'm duplicating from this next time. So for this one, that is a top wall. What did I call it? Oh yeah, it's just a middle wall, yeah. There we go. That is a top right, so if we do a greater than sign, that means top right. Okay. The next thing we have to deal with that we haven't seen before is the left side wall, so we'll do a forward slash, and that is going to be a left wall. There we go. And going across, the next thing that we hit is a vertical wall. So that's the right wall. And actually, if that isn't just right, then I messed something up horribly in my naming scheme. Next thing we've got is the C, is the open paren, and that's an L block. I called it an L block. It's this one. And then the opposite side is a reverse L block. Exactly, Wheatlol. So the plan is for these to all map to a specific type, where it's these words is really what it maps to, and we'll have these words for any given room type. So symbols we should have more than enough of for any different wall type that we would want to display. Should definitely not run out of those. Last thing I need, I think, is just the lower, the bottom thing. Do I need anything other than this? Did I miss any symbols? So that is lower? Yeah, it's just this one. Wait, that's not the same thing as this. Oh, you're right. These aren't the same. This is a... We'll do one of those and one of these. So that'll be one of these, and that is a lower left. Yep. They're not quite the same, and I can tell you when I was making these that I definitely messed that up, because it is not hard to figure out what these tiles are supposed to be in order to make that work. Now likely what we'll do is eventually we'll make a tile sheet out of this, and this will be like numbered coordinates. So like if we know that it's like a 5x5 section of characters, then they'll be numbered, and we'll just know which piece to grab that way. But obviously I haven't done that yet, so we're not slicing sprites yet. So we have this. Okay, so in theory, taking this, we could map our room into what we're trying to display here. So let's see if we can make this happen. Exactly, Nakey Supra. We're going to need to be able to make a screen where you can, like, make a room yourself by drawing it instead of putting it in there the way we just did here. I agree. We'll want to be able to select tiles and place them in. That'll be a little while before we get that. Okay, so this gets you a layout. This gets you the pieces. Let's get rid of that. Get rid of that. Let's hide those away. Open this. Level building. Item builder. Does this make the obstacles, or is this just... No. It's the level that does. So on a level... So I want to try this once, so we don't have to commit this part. So let's not. So let's add the player at a different point. Maybe that might be how we do it. What's a safe space for the player here? We want to start him at 0, 1, 2. So maybe at like 3, 3. 3, 3 is a reasonable player starting location. So we'll be sure the player's in the middle of that room section there. Initial zombie location. So this is choosing a random location. So as long as the zombie's created after the obstacles, we should be good. So let's not add our obstacles this time. We want to add in all the items we create for this, though. Okay. Our initial exit, we need to put somewhere that we could actually get to. So where's our exit? So that's 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So at 15, a 15x, and that's 0, 1 on y. So 15, maybe 2. Putting it in the middle, I'm cool with that. Middle-ish. So that should leave it in the room. And yeah, this is just to try this out. This is not intended to be the long-term way that this works. So let's include the layout. So this is in level building, and it's layouts.js, and we'll call this layout. It should be what gets exported. Whoops, sorry, layouts, plural. A wheat lull, I actually think it should be floored in that. Because we're not weight 1 based indexing. Yeah, exactly. That is a remnant of the. So essentially, when I first set this up, I actually had it as a 4 space thing, and I had it on the third space, so that would be number 2. So 3 divided by 2 is 1.5, and you'd go up for that. That's just where I placed it. So we had someone send in a pull request that adjusted that. It is floor, right? Yeah. Anyway. But yes, you're correct. We're off by 1 on that. So we pull in layouts. And then down here, I want to say... before we add the zombies or anything, or items... Where's layouts? Layouts.byName. Alright, so this is layout. That's very true, Wheatlaw. Not sure where I want this to be eventually. So I'm just going to put this at the top of this file for now. Because we're just sort of hacking this one in. Because I just want to see that it lays out right in our system before I say, like, yeah, let's go build this whole thing that uses this. Like, let's try running it once and see how it displays. So, what do we want to do? So, I want to do... X index layout. We need Y index first. Y index, whoops. For Y index, that's layout length. And then inside of this will get us our let row equal layout for the Y index. And yes, I know we can do this with some JavaScript loops instead, but I think of it more clearly this way. So we'll at least start out with it this way. X index equal that, and once we have that basic structure, yeah, see Wheatlaw, yes, we are going to do it as that, but the reason, and I do know that when you are for eaching over a JavaScript array that you can get access to the index. Yes, no, Wheatlaw, I am going to use one. I'm going to be using the array for each, but I want to write it this way for now so I can think about it, because I do need the index, and I am going to use an array for each to make it happen, and take the second parameter in those functions in order to be able to get it. So what I need to create is this. I need to create a new obstacle with a... So where entity... obstacles. Whoa, why are you jumping me around, man? I didn't want to get jumped around. What do we call this? Wall? We could call it walls, like wall or something like that. Wall is a kind of obstacle. Realistically, the only thing that's special about a wall is that it's an entity and that it has... and it's going to be basically the same structure. Except that the wall needs to know what kind of wall it is. So maybe this is where that comes into play. The game object. So I had put this constant, this ugly constant up here, which it's not going to go where I'm about to put it in the long run either, but this is better than where I just had it. So we're going to put the wall pieces there. And instead of specifying the string, we'll just take in whatever the value is. So we'll call this key. And that is going to be a string key. Do that. So those are all the possible options. Okay, so we take in this, and for the image address that we use, we just say wall pieces key. And that literally is all we need to do in order to make this obstacle created from those. This needs the coordinates, right? Where were we creating the coordinates for a barrel fire? Where's a barrel fire get this created? Get that address created. Does entity create a location if you didn't specify one? Set location to 0, 0. Okay. So it sets the location. Okay. So when I create this, is that where we set the value for the barrel? Yes, we created one and then set the location. So we will do this inside of our for each loop. Except instead of creating barrels, this is going to be... we're going to make a wall piece. Makes a new wall. This needs a key, which is going to be layout. It's actually just going to be row and x index. That should get us the value for that. Now we need to include wall at the top. Wall, and instead of barrel fire, that is wall. Okay, so we create a new wall like that, and then we set the new wall's location equal to the x index and the y index. Okay, so then we add that to the entity manager. So that gets treated as an entity that will get displayed using the sprite that we created, and the sprite is created using a mapping that's inside of wall based on that value, which we really need to call something other than key. That needs to be like piece type or something like that, and we need better words to describe it, but that'll probably come later when this is database driven. Let's make that work by doing this. Let's see if this works at all. And actually, let me turn off the overlay on our screen so we don't get two of them. Nope, that didn't seem to load. Everything's still working? It is. Well, let's have a look. Something must have broken here, right? Why? Right-click doesn't work in that browser window. There we go. No error and nothing displayed. Why is it trying? Oh! I think I know what's happening. Let's start off by dropping a breakpoint. So we're going to get a breakpoint initially. Let's go to, first off, let's close a whole bunch of these things that I don't care about. JS, game, level. Let's toss the breakpoint here. Let's see if we can't figure out. I think I'm trying to create something in this level that it can't make, and it's retrying it. So we add the player. It's not that level number, so we create an exit. I then go and I grab a layout. And there's my layout, and nice part is we can actually visualize it. We can see the layout coming in, so that's not bad. So that gets me the row, and that... Is that the first row? Yeah, that's the first row. So if I look at the value of row, that's the first row. Hey, Andy. Yes, you can type in the game room. So then we set the new index to 0, 0. That seems right. And the wall is getting created. Let me look at the sprite value on the wall. I want to see what the source is on this. Yep, that seems right. Okay, so it's definitely getting us these. Alright, so we get out of there. It should have created all the various layout pieces. Then we get down here, and we create a zombie looking for a random open location. Is that where it fails? It can't get a random open location for a zombie. Oh, that's true, there are none. Okay, so, well, I know why it's breaking now. That's right. Because I should only be doing this. Row. Let key equal row x index if key, what is it? Key's not a space, then do that. So that's gonna go into our for each loop that we're gonna do that with. That should be one of those. So we want to say if key's not an empty string, then do it. So there's our problem. Localhost that overlay. Let's bring this onto the screen again. There we go. Scroll down to the bottom. Let's go ahead and bring this up again, so we can find out if this bombs again. Alright, we're gonna let it run, see if it works. Yep, go ahead and zip past all that stuff. That's interesting, it keeps redrawing. They must not be able to map a path. Whoa, my player location's at 0, 2. Well, there's why. So the player location came in wrong. How did the player location get set to that? I thought I forced the player location somewhere. Oh, previous location was undefined, and it put my player at a spot, which I didn't want it to do. Okay. Oh, man. So, hold exit location equals that. Set the player location. There shouldn't have been one. Unless it retried. This set location should set the player to a default location, or something along those lines. Either way, we'll do that. Localhost overlay. We're going to toss this up on the screen one more time. Scroll on down, bring this over here. Still doesn't like it, huh? Ooh, an error. That's actually slightly better. Oh, right, this .player set location. Remove some of these breakpoints I created a minute ago. So here's our required location at 15.2, and the player location is at 3.3. So in theory, path came back empty again. You're telling me it can't find a path from 3.3 to 15.2? Alright, I'm going to remove that requirement. We're removing it. We're going to see where it's drawing it. Yeah, exactly. If players in a required location trigger an event. We do sort of. We do sort of. Wow, that's impressive. I might actually have to kill this. There it goes. Okay, cool. Infinite loops in JavaScript, isn't that great? You got another blue Yeti. Nice. Good job, Ed. So we're removing that check, and it failed entirely. Ooh, so we created something that wasn't an image. Remove that. Let's jump to the next one. Okay, so we're supposed to be drawing an image. I want to watch this value. So let's get rid of that. I want to watch entity sprite image. So there's the value I want to watch as we do this. So we're drawing a middle, a middle, a middle, a middle, a top right, a nothing, a nothing, a nothing, a top left, a middle, middle, should be a couple more middles, and then a top right, and then some nothings. And then we should be on the left hand side, we should be in the next row now. And then what is this one? Where are we? What is this entity? This is a wall with no image. What was the value? What's my coordinate? Where am I? I'm at 15.1. What is at 15.1 in our layout? This. Brendan. Maybe you shouldn't have put that in there. Brendan. That's fine. So it fails there. That's cool. Alright, got it. We figured out what the problem is. Hey, there we go. Okay, nice. That sort of drew a room-ish. Put a zombie next to me, put an exit over there. Hey! Greetings, I see some people talking. Players in requirement, Janisku, yeah, so funny thing, I was actually planning on doing that today. Valaboo, no, I have never worked at Microsoft. I've worked at a bunch of different companies, including Telerik Software. I've worked for some advertising agencies, a number of consulting firms, various ones around the industry. The Diamond VIP badge on Twitch. Yeah, it is pretty cool. I agree. Maybe not put what in where. Nikki Supra? And yes, Andy from Lithuania, you can move like that. So in theory, the room should work. It's not drawn quite right for some reason. I think I have my number of spaces wrong. Move right 100. There's a dev badge coming? Interesting. So I can't actually get to the exit because we drew it off the map. It's an interesting challenge. So let's do this. Whoops. So whatever I thought the size of these rooms are is totally wrong. We're gonna say that's so the 3-3 still works, but then it's what is the size of my grid? Metadata. Wasteful info width. 252. What's the size of my canvas? Canvas properties, view data. Pull this up so I don't math wrong. The width of our canvas is 798 minus 252 gets us 5462 divided by 42 gives us 13. So we are 13 wide and 5 tall, I believe. So if we're 13 wide, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So there is a room on our grid. And actually, I think I'd rather have the blank wall be on that side. If I'm gonna have a blank, like only a single blank wall somewhere, we'll put it on that side. There we go. That fits now. I still have the exit way over there for some reason. Exit item. It's right here. I don't want that at I don't want that at 15. I need that at, whoops, not level, layout. We wanted it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 1. Exit item should be at 11. Okay. Let's try that again. There we go. Whoa, where did the exit item go? I must have been off by 1, so let's try it at 10 and 2 maybe. There we go. Right, it wouldn't be at 11, it would be 10. Not 15, but 13. Exit reminds you of Gauntlet? Is that what they called it in Gauntlet? I didn't create the escape in the right way. Alright, let's clear that. Maybe some generation validators. Andy, yes. We do need some kind of validation, but the trick is that you still got to be able to build it right. So some of these creation pieces need a check when being created. Ed, no, I played Gauntlet Legends, but I don't remember it being an exit tile. Is that what it was? Is that what they had? They created a little tile that just said exit. I don't see a little tile that says exit. Oh, second. Hang on. Alright, hang on. Exit. Oh my god, it does just say exit. That's funny. That's good. No, yeah. I hadn't realized all they did was write exit. That's funny. No, didn't even think about that. That's entirely coincidental. That's kind of funny. I like it, but no, mine's up. Yeah, actually, so the funny thing is I'm not actually planning on using that long term, but maybe they weren't planning on using that long term either. I don't know. I was intending for mine to just say exit until I replaced them all with better ones, like my escape, for example. Okay, either way, that shows me that it can draw those levels, because if you look at this, that looks like a pretty decent level. I'm on board. That's a level. This very much is like a special place. This is like a room at that point. And actually, I do wonder. I almost want to do this. Make the room itself a little bigger. There. More space to actually roam around in. But that's a halfway decent little room. If you put some stuff in here, this were not a zombie generating room kind of thing, and you maybe had some items to pick up, this could be a spot that you stop by, you know, gather up some equipment, and move on. Okay. Proof of concept seems to work. Let's change some things about this. So I'm okay with our layouts for now. This wall pieces doesn't go here because we moved that elsewhere. So this is first room A is fine for now. We're not actually using it for anything. The wall object I'm also okay with for now. It creates nicely, so I'm good with the changes to that. You seem to like JS type annotations. Flow seems to be popular as an alternative. Any thoughts on Flow? Andy, I don't have a good answer on that one. This is just how I wrote it, and it's worked reasonably well. So layouts is okay. Exit items, I want to not create it that way. To do choose location far from player or allow setting. Okay, now for player. So we were just setting it there. Choose starting location based on level and previous exit. Your buddy, a front-ender, was praising the flow, but I guess each is a... yeah, Andy, I will look into it. I'm always open to new and better ways of doing things, so if people have suggestions for stuff, I'd love to hear it. So I would definitely be open to that. Level creation. Community manager, add the exit, get items for level, exit item, getting created there. Yeah, Andy. It's an old one. Kinda. I mean, it's not terribly old. To be honest, I've been thinking about using that kind of structure in more places. And some people also said a word I hadn't heard in a while either, which was reactive extensions, which I haven't messed with since doing like WPF style stuff a good while back. Bomb Track Bart, welcome. Thank you for that follow. Greatly appreciated. So let's go to level, and I want to go to next level. We're going to tell this to start. Add in the player. Create an exit because it's not the final level. We add the exits. Create some zombies. Create a few barrels. Jump down after creating barrels. Should have a path length 0. Where were we trying to get 2 to where? To 15 2. me help myself out here. I want to see what's getting drawn, because I apparently did not fully undo that. Path equals... There you go. Path has some values in it now. There we go. Interesting. Exit's getting drawn way over there. Player's still drawn at 3-3. Oh, still getting set to 15. There's why we couldn't exit. And player's still getting set to wherever player went. 2-2. There we go. There we go. Let's see. Yes, old in no way means bad. Exactly, Andy. No, old does not mean bad. Even if one doesn't use the learned patterns, I think they expand the abstract thinking. I would agree with that, Andy. I would agree with that. I think it is important to learn a lot of concepts, even if you don't apply them very frequently. Is LINQ used a lot in production? Specimen? Yes, LINQ is used all the time in production. All the time. I don't see any code bases anymore that are not loaded with LINQ. So, and there you go. See, Wheatlaw knows what's in Java. Wheatlaw loves Java. Yes, exactly, Ed. Okay. Yeah, it was a joke, Wheatlaw. I was kidding. I was kidding. I hate Java. That was a joke, Wheatlaw, because I'm not sure there's a programming language that you would say you really like. Although, except for Kotlin. Kotlin's the one you like, right? That's the one? Java! It's like Khan from Star Trek. The game. Starting items. Man, those JS.doc comments. It's so important that they told me that was required. That's why I hate required stuff like that. I wish they wouldn't red squiggle those. They're not useless as is. Like, they're totally valid. They just want me to add something else. Okay. Let's see, what are the changes? There's a proof of concept. That's fine. Showroom proof of concept. Default exit in middle space. Levels don't need that change yet. We don't have it, so we'll get rid of that. The wall object we can include. Allow creation of walls as entities. No, Kotlin sucks. There you go, Wheatlaw. I don't know much about link, but I do use streams regularly. With link, your expressions are translated into real queries, right? Streams are used for dealing with collections. So specimen, the cool thing is that link has a concept of an expression. So if your link is an expression, which it is, you can actually use that link and it can be translated as long as it maintains its status as an expression type in C#, and that can be translated into SQL by an ORM like Entity Framework. Whereas normally link really is only dealing with in-memory objects. It's just the fact that it can be stored as an expression that allows Entity Framework and other ORM tools to translate that into SQL. And yes, Wheatlaw does mention that. The difference between Java streams using single-use things while enumerations are reusable pipelines. I guess I don't know enough about Java stream. Yeah, but link can be translated into actual queries like the SQL queries, yes. Refresh the knowledge on Mediator, as the guide says, one buddy is better than multiple buddies in object-oriented programming. Nothing that translate the stream pipe into SQL queries, but I don't miss them in Java. Yeah, so different programming languages have different ways of doing things. Link on IEnumerable is a delegate, link on IQueryable is an expression. Yes, Ed, but you can actually compile the expression into a delegate and use it on an IEnumerable. Yeah, so as you wrote it there, but keep in mind that you can convert from the expression to the delegate to be able to use it in both places. So if you have it stored as an expression, you can use it against objects still. But yes, there is a difference there. So types. We strongly typed languages get crazy. You can iterate over an enumerable multiple times, which loads the stuff from the source multiple times, hence the IDE gives you a hint. Well, also keep in mind, Wheatlaw, if it's being calculated at the time, you can actually get different results the second time you enumerate, which is one of the reasons why it is potentially dangerous to use an IEnumerable multiple times. Well, I think so. Ed, yeah, I think one of the reasons why people miss it is because you don't need to know about what's going on with the types in order to use it. So we can use it effectively without knowing that, as long as we don't run into the scenario where it comes up. Java streams are like an IEnumerator, which can only be used once. Ah, okay. So you need an ORM to translate it into query. Yes, exactly. That is precisely right, Specimen. Hey, I'm not going to complain about stuff like the occasional easy-to-use thing in programming is quite nice. I think a lot of people appreciate that. I'm not going to commit that change, so inside a player, what did I do? I got rid of those stupid warnings, and... So we create special room layouts using walls. Yep, love C#. The thing you hate in Java is they don't have proper extension methods. C# and Java both have an extremely limited API on collective monads. Yes, well, that is true. Yep, and Wheatlaw, that is actually exactly what Link did. So that's actually what was amazing about Link when it came out, is they essentially figured out, hey, you know what? Like, we can just resolve all the problems of everything we were missing in all of those. So... Yeah, was using JavaScript and you needed flat maps. Yes, but it didn't exist either. But we couldn't make extension methods. Oh, yeah, exactly. So the neat thing is that in C#, if they're missing any link that you want, you can just add new ones. So that's why, like, more link exists, for example, which its whole purpose is to give you more link. Okay. Alright, so we grab items, we do that. We need to. So there are a couple of other things that I want to add to the game. So let's start adding them now. Item builder. I'm gonna hop over here, and what I want to do is this. I want to go to not this, the game commands. We're going to make a new class that this is going to be called shop command. Okay. That's funny. So you don't like that, you don't like what they did, but you're glad they were able to do it. You grab Lodash and do flat map. There you go, Andy. JS, I usually just throw my laptop. Type of nan number. Yes, not a number has a type of that has the type number. What do you mean? That totally makes sense. I am glad I can do it by providing methods that the libraries are missing. Yes, exactly. Well, that's what I mean. You're upset the library that they didn't just have them in the library. So the reason why they did that is that they wanted to make sure that these could apply on the IEnumerables, and an IEnumerable can't have a method yet. So because you can't have default implementations on interfaces, that's why. So the challenge is, because they made IEnumerable an interface, you can't have all of these on IEnumerable or iQueryable. That's why they have to be extension methods. So if you either set this up as default implementation on so aren't you on board for the default implementations in interfaces that C# 8 is going to add? I would think you would be then. They're adding them. C# 8 will have them. But they're doing it totally wrong. Well, I don't know how Java implemented it. I don't know how C# is implementing it yet, because I haven't dug into the specifics of how they're adding their default implementations. Let's do iGame repository. I do not like that. Do not like that I have to do it this way for now, but it's better than nothing. Game repository. List. Actually, do we have a way of seeing our inventory? Never thought I'd see the day, but you're mad at... Will, how are you mad at me? What are you mad at me for? So I posted 10 horrible puns, hoping at least one would make you laugh. Oh, that's what you're mad at me for. Oh, my ability to resist laughing at bad jokes. So I love bad jokes, doesn't mean I'm gonna laugh at them. Don't want, you know. No pun intended. Oh, man. Oh, geez, Will, that was terrible. That might have been worse than the last one. Alright, so I want to say chat client dot send message. Hang on 1 second. I need to look up some material. buy something, will ya? There we go. That's the one I want. Buy something, will ya? There we go. Yeah, Zelda is a solid game. One of my former coworkers actually streams the original Legend of Zelda on a regular basis, so he does speed runs of it. So if, for example, they made where a default method, you want to do this. New list where I see, but no, you have to upcast the friggin' list where it's a method of I enumerable. Wait, what? For example, they made where a default method. Wheatlaw, I hope they wouldn't make you do it like... I don't think you'd have to do that, as long as list didn't include its own implementation of it. I don't think that's how it would work, but I don't know for certain there, Wheatlaw. I would hope that you don't have to do it that way. If it does require doing it that way, then that's crazy. Nice, Ed. I love the Power Glove. So bad? Yeah, it's so bad. Are you sure about that? I'm pretty sure existing extensions work without casting. Interface methods, not extension. Yeah, I can't imagine it has to work that way. If it ends up like that when it goes live, then I think a lot of people are going to be unhappy about that, Wheatlaw. I can't imagine that being the way that it's going to work when they go to production. So if that's the spec, then that's just crazy. Anyway, buy something, will ya? And he should list the available things to buy. So let's do that. Let's first off make this an interpolated string, and we will list the items. And we'll call this string item display. String.join. For sale. How do we want to write one of these? So each one should be an enumerable. So we'll call this equals new list of Okay, I know that's horrible for now. I just want to figure out how we want to make this. Because I want to figure out how I want to display these. Int price name. So then we would write this as x.price. This would be x.name. Whoops. Okay, so how do we want that to display if we're going to write it? Maybe that and then that amount. Comma space between. Above code will produce the component. This is where JS shines. Oh, well, so Andy, I mean, I can get around that as well. There are other ways I can do that. But yes, you're right. Although I wouldn't write the JS one that way. That'd be a little weird. Isn't that just an object? Yes, Wheatlol. That's what Andy's showing. I am going to make an actual type for mine, though. That's not going to stay as this. It's going to have properties of name and price. Which, actually, I should do this just for... because that's what it's going to be in the long run. And then item display goes in here. So then 200 is going to be a sword. We'll do it that way. Okay. So now, if I were to... Is that actually going to restart? I don't know if that's going to restart or not. Nope, that didn't restart right. It's not letting go. It won't die! The bot won't die! Tuple or tuple? Ed. So, I've done a lot of talks about C# 7, and what I actually make sure to do is I write tuple and tuple in places in my slides, so in my notes in my slides, so I remember to use both. With the reason being that I want to make sure that I say both tuple and tuple during my presentation, and tell people that I really don't care which one it is, and if you want to use either one, I still know what you mean. So I'm not worried about it. Okay. Shop. Did that work? Nah, it didn't work. Why didn't oh, because I didn't actually wire it up, son of a... Wait, what is this? No, is it in C#? I indeed won't use the list or hash set, but iList, iSet, iCollection, etc. also mean the same. They also need to be upcast, and I use those really often. It's pronounced... it's not pronounced... Thanks, Will. Appreciate that, yeah. It's important to know. It's not pronounced whichever one you said there. It's pronounced whatever the other one was that you said there. Alright. I forgot I did it this way, so we're going to do that. There's our shop command. It's not pronounced tuple, it's pronounced tuple. No, it's not pronounced tuple, it's pronounced tuple. Clearly developers needed another argument. Are you freaking kidding me? Shop commands. Team is working, right? Wait. The bot never said hello. I just realized the bot didn't say hello. It didn't enter the chat. Such impolite bot. Yeah. No, since it didn't say hello, it's not in the chat, so that's why the command's not working. Clearly the command's not working. My name is Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel. Shop on the Citadel? Buy something, will ya? For sale. Axe 100, sword 150. That looks readable. That's usable. I could do that. So this data needs to come from somewhere. Let's call these What's the name for a thing that's for sale? No emoticons? Oh, yeah. Yeah, we could be using those, but that'd be a little weird. So, you're wanting me to do like that. There we go. Look at that. Yeah. Actually, that's a really nice looking sword there. Alright, what was I gonna do? I was gonna make... yeah, it's like a sellable item. Shop item. These words are so difficult. It's a thing you can purchase at a shop. Shop item. Oh, man. String. Name. Price. And the shop is also called the item shop, of course, because we want to have the shop item in the item shop. It's the item shop. It's the shop. Yeah, the shop item shop. That's what it is. It's the shop item shop. It's where you buy shop items. The best axe I can find that looks like a... Is that a pickaxe or a hammer? I can't even tell. Yeah, either way, I'm just going to use the words there, Andy. I'm good with just the words for now. Although I do like the idea of sending in the emoticons. Okay. So, we need shop items out of the game repository, so... we get all the shop items. This will be data policy. Shop item of all. Remove the redundant piece there. I'm gonna grab all the shop items for now. It has no ability to be disabled. We're gonna create that as items, select name and price. The axe broke the deal. Maybe we'll use it, Andy. Maybe. It'd be very bad if they release like that. Even extension methods let you use a class reference. Exactly, Will. That is precisely it. We all... No, actually, I think everybody agrees with you on that one. That is a terrible way to write that. I think it's a pain to have to cast it just to be able to use the default implementation. That's not the intention of it. Okay. In theory, we should then be able to store this in the database as a shop item. Data context. Shop items. Hang on, let me catch up on chat while we take a look at this. How is string interpolation performance in C# Specimen? It's actually fairly good. It's you can run some stuff about it. One of the things I kind of miss in Java is we do have string format, but it's a lot slower than normal concatenation. So Specimen, the difference is that if you use string format, it's actually not that slow. So string concatenation, even if it would be faster in some cases, if you're putting multiple pieces together, then string format would actually be faster than string concatenation because it only creates one additional string for the newly created piece. What a lot of people miss in string concatenation is that every time you do a concatenation, it has to create new strings. So I guess if you do one big concatenation, it probably figures it out. Silent Fork. Hey, greetings. You saw my videos on YouTube and you've got a question. Will your bot implementation work for any other messengers? So Silent Fork, we have built it such that we want it to be able to work with other messaging systems. So we want to be able to connect it to Discord, we want to be able to connect it to Slack, we want to be able to connect it to YouTube chat, to Mixer chat, basically any other chat system. So that's the idea. So short answer is yes, we want to be able to do that. We have not built those implementations yet because we are primarily focusing on the Twitch one. Okay, so you can create an implementation with an interface, and the interface is the default implementation that you'll inject, and you don't have to cast. I don't see a scenario when you have to cast it unless you use some var with the new class. If that's true, then that resolves the problem. You can do new list where using IEnumerable extension methods. Yeah, no problem, Silent Fork. Thanks for watching. We don't know how this is going to work. Good point. I did see a lot of tests showing string format performance is worse in Java, but I don't consider how many concatenations they're actually doing. Yeah, so inherently the problem with string concatenation and performance comes up from the fact that strings in a lot of languages like C# are immutable. So that means anytime you actually go to change them, what happens is they actually create new strings every time. So that's actually what causes the performance problems that you probably run into. So, yes, all of the code in this project is actually available on the interwebs, and I don't have the bot running, so I can't link to it. But it's github.com/devchatter, and there are links down below the stream. Aren't string concatenations compiled as string builder? Wheatlow, they weren't before, so unless that's changed, then that's new to me. Because it definitely was not before. So I don't know if they recently changed how C# does string concatenation. No, so we do not do it that way. So there's a decent amount of overhead that comes from using a string builder. So from the simple scenario, you wouldn't want to do it. And yes, as Will mentioned, so now we actually have the option of using a span of t to do the concatenation. That can work like string builder, or you can use string builder still. So it's still in the language, still works the way you'd expect it to. Anyway, while I do this, I don't want the bot running because it will prevent me from compiling this as I create the migration in Entity Framework. So let's hop over here, and we are going to grab the name of this context. And we're going to say add migration test, and context is that one. So we're going to add a new migration, we're going to call it test, that's a temporary name, I'm going to get rid of that in a moment. But I want to see what Entity Framework thinks is the change that I'm trying to make. So here it is. It thinks I want to create a new table, and it's just one I see, with a primary key of ID that is a value generated integer and a name that is a nullable string. I'm okay with that. And a non-nullable integer. Don't know why it would be nullable though. Don't really need it to be. Either way, let's go ahead and undo that. There wasn't a restriction, so it just said, it just decided to make it nullable. That's why. Because I don't have any data annotations on it to tell it otherwise. So if I wanted to make it keep it, what I can do is this. I can either add the annotation onto here, and I could essentially go in and say required, and then that would make it do that. So if I do that, it should make it required now, although I don't necessarily want to make that. So yeah, exactly. It's because with an integer, you can't have a nullable int. It's a value. Like a nullable int is a type. Kinda. I mean, it is. But see, now when I do that, the name is also not nullable. So that's one way I could do it. The other way is to do this. Let me go ahead and undo this change here. And if I go into our data context, I can say model builder dot entity shop item, and I can say dot property, say name is required. And if I go ahead and run it now, it will also require it, and it will no longer be nullable. Regarding new list, where if you want to use a default implementation, you will just do IEnumerable of list, new list, where as an example that Wheatlaw gave. No need for casting unless using the var. Yeah, if you kept the type as that, I think you'd be able to. Yeah, string is nullable by default in C#, and an int question mark are two different types. That is correct, Andy. Yep, precisely right. So C# has this concept of a reference type and a value type. Reference types are nullable and value types are not. So value types tend to be all the primitives, they're structs, they're things like ints, decimals, doubles. Those are all value types. Whereas a reference type is usually passed using a pointer, and you don't see that happening in C#. That concept is hidden from the developers, so we don't have to deal with that. And what we're actually able to do then is focus on what we're, coding, and we kind of get to ignore that piece for the most part. I do think it is important for developers that use languages like C# that hide away these references and value types to understand what is going on and whether or not the value is getting passed around. But what's interesting is there's actually... So you mentioned int question mark being... so that is like... That's a nullable int, right? And maybe here can be set to null. Int real value equals, and real value cannot be set to null. So here's so I can set that to null, but I can't set this one because the struct int32 is not nullable. Whereas this, it says struct int32 here, but that's a lie, sort of. What's actually the lie here is that this is not the type of this object. So Visual Studio is lying to me, because this type is actually nullable int. So that's actually what's hidden from you. When you use that question mark syntax, you miss the fact that what you really did was you made this. You made a nullable int and didn't realize it. So nullable int is int question mark, in the same way that string and string let me do this just so that we don't have the error here. So in the same sense that these two strings are the same type, even though they're not written the same way, they really are the same type. This, this one. So this one and maybe here are the same type. That int question mark and the nullable int, that's the same thing. So C# sort of hides that from you. I figured I'd just show you that since it kind of came up a little bit. Let's see. Value task of T. Yeah. How typing interfaces instead of our steps. You can assume the root. I had to look up the Java concatenation, so Java does compile into a string builder, but pretty bad if you concatenate in a loop with plus still, because it creates a new string builder object for each iteration. Yes, Specimen. That's actually why I was commenting that you might not want it to do that, is because what I can do as a developer is I can decide to use a string builder when I know that I'm going to be compiling a lot of things together into one big string. However, if I'm doing a lot of little concatenations inside of a loop, first off, that's a dangerous thing and I should probably consider doing something else. But if I'm going to do that, I don't want to create a new string builder each time. I want to do a quick concatenation, so I only have to create one new string each time, instead of doing the extra work of creating the object. So yes, important to know what is actually going on inside of these things. Do I have that? Nope. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do this time. So you can't see it because it's behind my head. But I promise you all I'm doing is adding a new migration right here. And we're going to call this create shop item table. So we're going to create the shop item title. I like to use an extension method string builder.append when string predicate. Ed, I would love to know what you're doing with that. String and a predicate, append when something? I would love to know what you're doing that one for. Maybe I didn't read what Will, I don't think I read what Will was talking about. Because you're having to keep an extra variable of a different type if you want to use native list. Append when wraps the if predicate. Oh, got it. Yeah. I see what you're talking about now, Ed. Yep, that is a nice way to do it. There are a lot of those little extension methods. So, for example, where you're just like, you almost got this thing I wanted, where like, I'm like, oh, I want to be able to do like an equals with an invariant ignore, invariant culture ignore case, like I just want to do this in a whole bunch of places. Cool. Let me just make myself a little helper. That's why I love extension methods. They let you do the little stuff. So that is what I want it to be. So I want to do this. Update the database. Let's if predicate append else. Did I try to change the table? What the? Oh. Early records needed to get deleted. That's my bad. Sorry, old records, you're gonna die. I didn't add in the part to the script where we fix that type. You didn't run, yeah, I didn't dry run after change, exactly, Andy. I did not. But that's actually a previous change, so I apparently didn't update the database when I added that requirement anyway, which is my bad. Okay, so that adds that. That's our shop command. Shop item. There it is. Shop items, view data. Let's see, this is an axe, and an axe has a price of 100. A sword has a price of 150. Bat has a price of 50. So there's our initial items you can buy from the shop. And actually, I should put these in this order. Since we didn't alphabetize yet, let me at least do that to help us out. Is the bot running? No, it is not. Good. Let's start it up and see what we get. You have a ternary version, append if else condition, true and false value. Oh, that's kind of funny. Append if instead of append when, yeah. Alright, shop. Buy something, will ya? Bat for 50, axe for 100, sword for 150. Very nice. That's exactly what I wanted to see. Add a shop display. Do I have my money stored? I might not have stored my money yet. Did I do anything with the money? Money. I write it out. I don't give you any money. No money for you. No money. All right. Survivor. Money right there. Okay. So when you escape, I'll give you your money. Ooh, do you get your money regardless of death? Do you get your money regardless of death? I think, yeah. I think I'm gonna be friendly about that. Keep your money even if you died. We'll be nice. Friendly, you might say. Shop command. Oh, I did not display them. I need to display the ID. So we're going to display the item ID. Bat. And Andy, I just noticed that you put an emoticon in there for the bat. And actually, yes. So maybe eventually we'll change it so you only get part of your money if you died. So yeah, that might be a nice restriction. So we're gonna have the ID, a name, and a price all get displayed. Let's do this. Every link method ever while yield return. Alright, so this is going to be buy shop item operation. Game command operation. Operand words is going to be buy Yeah, it'll be bi for now. We'll figure out some other words for it later. Okay, bi, convince me. Turns out it was a 2 Pepsi day. See, Will was the guy that was mentioning reactive extensions, I think. I was one of those, hadn't heard someone mention reactive extensions in quite a while. Have you programmed any mods or other games before? I have done some simple game development back, so like not much. Back when I was in college, we started a club that was basically in the computer science department, and we, worked on games together. Not like we actually published anything or even have any of the source code for any of that anymore. It went away. But we did work on some stuff. Let's see. So, buy something when we're going to display the items. That's what we do if you didn't match one of our operations. So we're going to say private read-only. List of there it is. List of those. Operations. Underscore operations equals new list of operations. And we will do this. And I saw somebody say something in chat. I will read that in a second. Just give me a moment. Let's see. If operations You kidding me? It undid it that way? WTF, mate. So there's that string, first or default. Why in the world would you think I wanted you to do that? Var operation equals that. If operation there's our operand. If we have an operation, then do it. Otherwise, just list. Dot try to execute and pass in the event args. And ooh, the survivor. Ooh, that's weird. Okay, hang on. Let me read chat. 1 Pepsi plus 2 Pepsi equals something. Got a question. Do you guys use yield at all? Is it good performance-wise? Camel, that depends on the circumstance. Yield can be good performance depending on how you use it. So in certain contexts, yes, it is very good. There are a couple of places where it can be less efficient. Google link source code, you'll find the source of GitHub. Yeah, so the reason why Link has to use it is because it's good in a lot of cases for Link. And all the tests I've done yield is much slower. There are a lot of optimizations in Link itself. Yep, there you go, Will. I was just looking over cascading parameters. I like the simplicity of it. However, I'm disappointed debugging is still basically useless. Link is about readability and speed to code and debug. If you are in a tight loop, my recommendation is avoid. Well said, Will. Well said. So in a lot of cases, so if it's not in a tight loop, performance of the performance decrease you get from using Link is worth paying in order to have the clearly written code. So that's a pretty good description of it. The survivor is not. Don't like that. I almost want to use like some middleware and make it so these game commands, when I receive them, automatically just convert this so I get the survivor object for whoever the person was that sent us the message. So get their survivor instance instead of getting their like chat instance. I think that might be what I want to do instead. I'll have to look at that. The library called Link Optimizer. That actually sounds pretty cool, Fuel Snable. We're going to do that. This will get us back a message. Chat client dot send message. Okay, so when we do that, buy something, Iliya for sale those, and then for this one, item that $, ventargs elements, arguments elements at or default 1. If int dot try parse item requested out int item ID item ID greater than 0. Return I run a legitimate shop selling legitimate items. That's not a legitimate item. There we go. You tried to buy item ID. Okay, there we go. Let's take a look at that, and then I'm going to figure out what is going on in chat, because a whole bunch of people are talking about stuff. I love Link, by the way. I use it whenever I can. Not at all code is performance sensitive, as devs seem to think. Yes, Will Bennett, well said, well said. I agree. As I mentioned, sometimes it is unusual to avoid awful performance. There's also the illusion that language X or framework Y is more performant because it's proven by performance tests. That's fair, Wheatlaw, because most of us don't write code that is the same as whatever the benchmark is. I used to not like keeping objects immutable for performance reasons. After having read effective Java, I make everything possible immutable. A lot of us like performance. That does not necessarily mean that it is good to consider it at all times. Make it work, make it right, and then make it performant if needed. Yep, exactly. That is precisely what I like. First, make it work. Very nice, Wheatlaw, very nice. Okay, let's give this a shot. Let's do this. You tried to buy the that item. I think that's what I'm going for. Shop by I run a legitimate shop selling legitimate items. That's not a legitimate item. There we go. That might be better. Okay. So that worked. So that's the shop item. Join team operation. So how did this work? Took in the survivor. That's the concept specimen. Folder, model, folder, survivor, test, class, let's see, we have buy item and sell an item. So buy an item. Sorry. I derped there for a second. Buy item should. Name file. Make that a fact. Public void. Do something. Given something. Okay, so new survivor. Buy an item. Wheatlaw believes in 200% code coverage. Don't test pretty specific parts of the code. It might be hard to trace where exactly the problem is. Yes, that is correct, specimen. But maybe your behavior tests are pretty specific. I don't know. And yes, Will is correct. If things get hard to test, then you've got something wrong in your structure, which a lot of us run into all the time. Not only your programming skills improve, but also your hairline from DevIQ. Huh. Well, if you like my hair better now than it was in my DevIQ picture, then I'm glad for that, MKSS322. Also, welcome. For my current hobby project, hard to test. Alright, so how do we want to do this? When we buy an item, I kind of want it to receive a new shop item and a price. Maybe it's just a shop item. And if you're buying from another player, you still buy it as a shop item object or something like that. Maybe that's what it is? Huh. Gotta think about that, because what I'm thinking is this. So if you buy and sell from another player also, we're going to have buy item and sell item, where one survivor is going to buy it, the other one's going to sell it. And it'd be the same operation, and price could be set. So, like, I could sell you an item I'd found in the game if it's like a special item that you don't normally find anywhere. So, survivor buy item, new shop item which I'm realizing that means that shop item needs something I didn't give it previously, which I think means it needs a number of uses as well, which essentially is that durability, which is not applicable to every item, so maybe you even have a potion that has multiple uses. If we have one of those or something. Keep in mind I created the artwork for potions in our game already, so I am expecting, like, we'll have an alchemist or something like that working on, like, healing potions for helping you fight the zombies. So I expect that to be something in the game eventually, so hence why I have red potion, for example. Okay, so should do something given something. So buy item, is there a result? Cool. Buy item. Result equals that. Result dot should be false. Should return. Wow, my keyboard is failing. False. Given survivor. Let's just say not enough money. Given not enough money. Money equals 10. Price equals 11. So you're going to miss the price by 1. So buy item, shop item, returns a boolean of that, should be false. Alright, change the type of that. So we'll do that, run this test, make sure it fails. Okay, okay, test fails. Should be true. Whoops. Switch the other one, Brendan. False. Okay. So there's the first test. Let's get our next one. Should return true given enough money. Be true. Money is 10, price is 10. So he has exactly enough money in order to buy that. Franklin89, I apologize. My bot might not be running. Oh no, it is there. No, you're good. Franklin89. Have some coins, Franklin. What's your opinion on Rider? I like Rider. It's reasonable. I've used it on a couple of streams here in the channel. I used it in our in one stream because Visual Studio released an update that failed. So that was one reason. Since I've got a bunch of people in here, I figured I'd mention, I noticed there are a couple of new faces that I don't think are yet in our Discord, so I'm going to link to it there. And I'm also going to mention that all our source code is actually out on GitHub if anyone wants to take a look at that. And hey Renee, welcome. Yeah, exactly, Janescu, you can play now. And hey Crimson Green. Rightio. So we're expecting it to be true in that case. Let's run these 2 tests. The second one should fail now, because I definitely don't ever return true. We can only return false, because that's all we do right now. You can have 10 tests if none is doing division by 0. Alright, so we need to make this work. So let's do something with this. We're going to say if survivor, if money greater than or equal to shop item dot price, return true. Congratulations on that victory there, Franklin. For giving out one Crimson Green, you gave out a coin? When did you give out a coin? Oh, you gave out a coin. Oh, well, I mean, I gave him 25 coins. I don't care. You can give him a coin if you want. I'm not worried about you giving people coins. Don't give people like 1,000,000 coins, but giving out coins is a good thing. People need them every once in a while. So return true given enough money, return false given not enough money. So there's whether or not it succeeds. So this is the stuff that should change it. Should reduce money. When successful. Should reduce money when successful. Yeah, okay. So survivor.money should be 0 in this case. Although realistically I want to know what it is, so let's say let's do that. So should reduce money by price when successful. That test fails because it didn't reduce the price, so let's go ahead and reduce the price. So if money is greater than that, then we are going to try pay shop item price. And if we succeed, this will be the add item to inventory. Don't forget the sales tax. Thanks, Will. Yeah, I'll remember to add on the sales tax. Alright, so reduce money by price when successful. And then the last thing is add item to inventory when successful. Actually, now that I think about it, how does that work? Try pay. Let's do this. We'll just try to pay the price, and I think that works. So before I add this test, let's confirm all the other tests still work, because I did a quick refactor. Sales tax and tips. Ooh, that's a good idea, Renee. That's a good idea. I should be collecting tips. Add item to inventory when successful. Okay, so Survivor inventory did get set to a new list. Yes, it did. Okay. So let's say I don't. You know what? I didn't care about that result. Yeah. Well. Yeah, results should still be true. Survivor money should be that. But money I'm not going to pay as much attention to. Actually, I'm going to remove that there. The other one would fail if that failed. So result shouldn't be true. Survivor dot inventory items should contain single with and somebody might be like, Brendan, why did you make that a magic string? And I'll be like, well, because I have tooling that lets me do this. If I didn't have a tool that did that for me, I wouldn't have done it that way. There we go. Why did you make that a magic string? Thanks, Will. Much appreciated. Alright. So, axe. Sort of is still a magic string, but it's at least a magic string stored in a variable. Okay, so that's how we create that. I need to get my inventory system locked down a little bit more than we've got there. Shouldn't assert check if inventory items is exactly one item instead of contains? It's a great suggestion. And then we'll just let that fail if it isn't. So it'll fail by exception if it's not. I will do you one better. What is a magic string? Abracadabra. I'll do you one better. Why is a magic string? 42. Yeah, I guess that could be really anything. Do I want to do it this way, or do I want to do this with a, like, static, or something else that creates one? Spotify now starts slower than Visual Studio. That's embarrassing. Did you know that string calculates the hash code each time? Oh, Will, I did not know that, but that is hilarious. Wouldn't surprise me. Trust is not something that developers usually have. Okay, so inventory items, add new inventory item. Buy shop item operation. So now we can say survivor dot buy item shop item. I have a question. Yep, thought so. Oh, no. I can't do it that way. Do that. Okay. Alright, I don't know if that's gonna work. We'll find out. Okay, here goes. I'm gonna restart the bot. We're gonna try this little thing. Hype! Someone hyped a while ago, and I didn't have that screen running. That's funny. Thank you, somebody, for the hype. Much appreciated. Oh, I just restarted the bot, Crimson. I just restarted the bot. There's a derp. There's a double derp. You can still murder the immutability with marshalling and unsafe code. Not that it's a good idea, but gives developers a way and they'll abuse it. Yeah, exactly, Renee. That's one of the things that's often worrying about a language. Yes, with unsafe code, you can actually do some things that are, quote, unsafe, Homeline. There are a handful of them, so C# does technically allow for some things that most of us don't do most of the time. Okay, so let's try the shop. Shop. Wait, hang on. Shop? Really? Really? Did I break it? Shop command, let's go. There we go. Hey, Homeline, sorry about that. You can check for the list of the music down below the stream. But hang on one second, because I am actually messing with the bot right now. There is no operand, so we come back with no operation. Come down here, attempt to grab the list of items. We throw an exception. Oh, son of a derp! Son of a derpin' derp. Derpiny derp. I forgot I did that. Oh, that is my bad. Add uses column to shop item. Herpity derp. Herpin derpin. Non-nullable uses with a default value of 0, that's fine. Herpity derp. Herpin derpa. View the data. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and yeah, as I mentioned, all the information about the music you can find down below the stream, or if this is recorded and you're watching in the future, it's down below the video. Both are true, so let's get that out of the way. And now, let's try that again. Shop. Buy something, will ya? Shop. Buy. Did I pull the right number? I might not have pulled the right number. Didn't I? Tried to buy the bat item. Did I buy the bat item, though? That's the question. Yes, I bought a bat. Tried to buy the sword. Whoops. Didn't mean to click that. That was the wrong button. I bought a sword. Okay, so I'm successfully buying stuff. Let me change these messages. And let me get that committed. Commands, operations, buy shop item operations. If buy item return when I say you bought a not enough money for a buy the blank item. Survivor.money is not enough money to buy the blank item. Bought oh, have a good one, Crimson. Take care, take care. These are the things that are available. Common tools, reflections here. That's part of C#. A lot of developer tools use reflection, which makes for mocking objects. Yes, exactly. We have a lot of interesting things that are available to us, because there's also like tools that actually modify the IL of your code after it's been compiled, so that it can actually allow you to test it and make other changes. So I have seen some things that do that. It's actually kind of scary, to say the least, but Hey! Thank you very much for that follow. Greatly appreciated. And yes, if anyone else in here has been enjoying the stream at all, be sure to click that follow button so you get notified when we next go live. Let me go ahead and kill the bot again. It just needs a hard restart. Every once in a while we have to hard restart that bot. And the reason why is that it is actually a running web application with a bunch of background processes. This is actually how it works. And the challenge is that when it's running, it has all of its files locked, so we cannot compile over them. So what we actually have to do is we have to close it down, and then it will work. So here it is running again. And let me go ahead and start up my game. So remember, I bought that sword and the bat, and you'll see that I have them. So that's the cool part, is I was actually able to start the game with some items because I bought them. So I can sit here and basically like farm points with my items that I have picked up. So I'm down to just an axe, and when I escape, I'll escape with just that axe. And then the cool part about that is, hello bot, the world has arrived. Okay, so now it says I escaped on level 3 with a whole bunch of points while holding an axe and no coins. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't think I get points for killing zombies right now. Actually, no, I think I do, but it's not many. Because I killed a whole bunch of zombies. So now if I start up a game, you'll see my current inventory is just that axe. But let me refresh. And then I want to say shop, and it has some items for sale, and I want to say buy 3. So I bought a sword. Oh, and thank you. So congratulations, you can actually play the game there. So type in like exclamation point move right. So you can do this. For example. So yeah, I ran you over to that spot. But I recommend you move right one more time and go down and grab that sword. So and then you want to do that. So then get yourself to the exit. But that's basically how it works. Yeah, and anyone can actually play. The difference is that I have keyboard controls that I can use for our debugging so that we can test it a little bit better. So, yeah, exactly. I get a keyboard over here, but the idea is that we're going to let, like, you know, one person play at a time. But hey, I got you an axe and some coins there on the way out, so I thought that was a pretty good deal. But hang on, I want to see the sword that I bought. So you can see that I bought myself a sword just a moment ago, and I have it now. So that's the significant part. So yeah, do you go by Quas? I just want to make sure I get that name right. But either way, welcome, thank you for that follow. And sure, Quas. that works. So anyway, the idea is I want to make this a game that like people could play during chat, not necessarily just on my stream, but in like any stream, and it's like a game that you'd just play. So it's the idea being that it's, you know, just a stream game that you can have running while your viewers are watching. Maybe you're programming, maybe you're playing another game, and they can use this to sort of compete with each other. So that's the idea. And then we just fit this onto the screen down in the lower portion. Which I guess you could lay it out however you want, so it could be on the top if you like. So right now we're letting multiple people play the same character and control it, but we're probably going to make it so that only the player who it is the one controlling it. And actually, if you go into the game room, so if you click on rooms and switch over into the game room, you can actually keep most of the chat out of there also, so that you know, your movement commands don't distract everyone. So you could do like move down. See? So like that. So there you go. Used to generate state machines based on C# source code, converting it to Roslyn using an analyzer. Generates fluent interfaces in general. As long as you're friendly about the fighting, I'm okay with fighting. As long as it's not like vicious. So yes, you can duel. It'll be a rock paper scissors game in a whisper. Yes, Quas, exactly. It'd be kind of like Twitch plays Pokemon. So you should have each gotten a whisper and choose either rock paper or scissors in that whisper with the bot to do the duel there, Will and Quas. Okay, so buy item should, that is adding in the shop command. That's the buy the item method. There's the shop item. There's the adjustment to be able to create one from an inventory item. That's the database table changes required for it. You keep money even if you're dead. Okay, allow survivors to buy items. Cool, I like that. That's an interesting way to do it. Alright, what is this? It was a tie, they both picked rock. Oh, what? Exactly, Quas. A lot of people listen to the stream while they're coding other things. It was interesting. Like, a bunch of people were like, "Wow, there's a lot of lurkers," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's pretty normal. They're usually writing code, and they generally pay attention whenever I'm excited about something." So one of the challenges about streaming is not everything about code is interesting all the time. So, like, not interesting in that you don't need to look at it at all times. Might be the best way of describing that. Okay. Anyway, a couple of things I want to mention. So first off, if anyone's in here and hasn't yet, I want to make sure that you click the follow button to make sure that you get notified when I go live in future episodes of DevChatter. We actually stream 4 times a week. And I also want to make sure that everybody checks out our Discord, which I've linked to in the chat over there. Discord's a chat application that is commonly used by gamers, Twitch streamers, and a lot of people that build community projects, things like that. So a lot of creators use it as well. It's really built for that kind of thing. Exactly, Crichton. Yes, there are a lot of those lurkers around here. Nobody listens to Brendan until he picks up the cat. The cat's not even here. The cat is not even in the room with me, which is unique for a stream. So clearly that is, this must be like the worst stream I've ever done because there's no cat in the room with me. He's actually downstairs because my wife is not yet. The cat's not even here. My wife's actually at home. She's downstairs. The cat's probably sitting on her lap. Yeah, exactly. Fuel Snables unsubscribed. There's no cat. No cat. What is this? I was here for the cat stream. Anyway, A couple of things I want to mention. So first off, for anyone that is wondering, if you want to contribute to any of our projects, if you want to work on this game, if you want to do any of that kind of stuff, all the source code that we use here on this on DevChatter is available on GitHub. You can find it at github.com/DevChatter. Link over there in the chat, as well as down below the stream or video. If you want to watch some of our videos on YouTube, I tend to push them up there every once in a while, so you can find all of our videos. Our archive is over on YouTube, so that goes back to the creation of the stream. That was over 9 months ago, so we have literally well over 100 episodes that are over in our archives on YouTube. Other things I want to make sure that I mention. Be sure to join our Discord so you can chat with me and the other developers that are in here. And then with that, I want to click one more button, and that would be this one. So I want to say thank you to everybody that supported us. Make sure that you come back here on Saturday at 1 o'clock. We're going to be streaming again. I want to thank our moderators. Crimson Green, I know, was here, and I saw SNB at one point, don't know if still here. Quas, Silent Fork, and Bomb Track Bart, thank you for those follows. And Twitchloff and Crimson Green for the 3-month and 9-month resubs, respectively. So thank you both for that support. It is greatly appreciated. And I will see you all in 2 days. And it's, what? No. Saturday stream isn't happening. So hopefully it'll either be tomorrow or Sunday. Your time for the stream start is fixed. Yes, Will, it is fixed both down in the panels below as well as in our schedule. Will House. We'll get the schedule for... Oh, it doesn't know where Will House is. Hang on. Let's check England. Camel, thank you very much for that follow. Greatly appreciated. If anybody else is in here and has not clicked that follow button, be sure to do so, as we do stream here regularly. In fact, that's our usual schedule. So as I mentioned, there will not be a Saturday stream this week. Hang on. Don't worry, Wheatlol, I got you covered. I happen to know where hell is. Hell is in Michigan. Wheatlol, I don't know where you're from, but you should not be surprised. There was in fact an Ohio-Michigan war, so yes, the guy from Ohio will be sure to tell you about the fact that hell is in Michigan. Oh, there's a hell in the Netherlands? Well, there you go, Wheatlol. You gotta love those. Anyway, as I said, we're not going to have the Saturday stream this week. I might try to get a bonus stream in at some point, either tomorrow or on Sunday. We will figure that out. Yes, of course there are... why wouldn't there be a bunch of places named Hell? So, other things... no, Wheatlol, we can't do a solid Saturday this week, as I will be busy at that time. So... Sorry about that. I am trying to schedule a couple of things, so anybody that is in here, there is a project that I want to work on that heavily has to do with dates and scheduling things. And so I am going to reach back out to John Skeet, who we talked to at your guys' request a long time ago and said, hey, we want to get you on the show as a guest, so I'm planning on reaching out to him again on Twitter. So be sure to follow me on Twitter, because if I do reach out to him, I'm probably going to ask him on there if he can come on and help us with that, because he does make note of time. So feel free to follow me on Twitter in either one of the addresses listed over there in the chat. And if you see something go out where I'm commenting at John Skeet to do a thing, then yes, feel free to chime in and let him know. John Skeet is the John Skeet of Stack Overflow. But he's not really a Stack Overflow guy, he's just like the #1 contributor on Stack Overflow. I don't think he actually has any other association there other than probably being a moderator in their system. So yeah, that there's a project that I would love to have him help us build that I think is really, really cool. So yep. No, I'm probably not going to make him a VIP in the chat, but probably while he is on the stream, I do often mod the guest on our stream. So, anyway, I will see you all on Monday. Have a fantastic weekend. I will try to get in a bonus stream so it is not, so I see you again before Monday, but if not, be sure to be here on Monday, and we will have some awesome stuff planned. So take care, everybody. Have a good one. Happy coding. Enjoy your weekend.